When the tax-free status of Camp John Hay was revoked, the business model collapsed, inflicting financial losses on CJH Dev Co. Let's find out what happens to a public-private partnership when the government breaches the very foundation of the agreement. After 4 years of waiting for the land and 15 months waiting for permits, the Camp John Hay project was finally trying to move forward. On July 14, 2000, CJH Dev Co. and the BCDA signed the first restructuring memorandum of agreement. To show good faith despite the delays, CJH Dev Co. made a massive payment. They paid 50 million pesos in cash, but more importantly, they paid 75 million pesos in properties, specifically house and lot units and condominiums. Here's the critical detail. These properties came with a lease term up to 2046. By accepting these units as payment, the BCDA acknowledged and validated that the lease was indeed for 50 years. They took ownership of assets that were tied to that specific timeline. It was proof in concrete and deed that they knew exactly what the deal was. But just as the project found its footing, the ground fell out from under it. On October 24, 2003, the Supreme Court dropped a bombshell. They nullified the tax and duty exemptions within the John Hay Special Economic Zone. Remember the non-negotiable promises? The tax-free status was the financial engine of the entire project. CJH Dev Co.'s financial projections relied on these incentives. Without them, the business model collapsed. The government had promised a special economic zone. Now, the highest court in the land said that promise was void. Faced with a shattered business model and a government that couldn't deliver its side of the bargain, the developer had to stop the bleeding. Starting December 2003, CJH Dev Co. stopped paying lease rentals. It wasn't an act of rebellion, it was an act of survival. You cannot pay rent on a premium economic zone when the economic zone part has been erased. It took nearly 4 years to fix the mess. Finally, in March 2007, 2 critical laws were passed. Republic Act 9399 granted amnesty for past tax liabilities, while Republic Act 9400 officially restored the tax incentives for John Hay, Clark, and Subic. With the tax issue resolved, both parties tried to reset. On July 1, 2008, they signed a new restructuring agreement. CJH Dev Co. agreed to do something extraordinary. Despite the years of losses, they agreed to pay back the rentals for the 5 years they stopped paying. In exchange, the BCDA made a new guarantee, the establishment of a one-stop action center. They promised to process all licenses and permits within 30 days, no more 15-month delays. It seemed fair. The developer would pay the back rent, and the government would finally cut the red tape. It was a second chance to make the partnership work. But a guarantee is only as good as the agency enforcing it. The developer agreed to pay billions based on that 30-day promise. But did the BCDA actually set up the one-stop action center? Or was this just another signature on a contract destined to be broken?